It's happening. This brand new narrative, which is, again, very realistic to people now. I think now that Bitcoin's like 10% away, it's becoming more realistic. There are other things at play. I just saw this headline, Amazon to ditch cash for crypto. The National Center for Public Policy Research wants Amazon to move 5% of its $88 billion treasury into Bitcoin, claiming inflation is draining its cash faster than a prime day frenzy. They argue real inflation is double the 4.95 CPI rate. So rate hikes. And here's the thing, that story of just companies like Amazon, here's another one, Microsoft. This story is at the very beginning. This is a brand new era, what we see happening right now. And it plays directly into the supply shock of Bitcoin. Microsoft could make history in 2 days as shareholders vote on whether to add Bitcoin to the balance sheet. So we have Amazon, we have Bitcoin. And I really want to remind you, and this is kind of what I talked about in a Substack newsletter I posted over the weekend. This cycle, don't forget the government. Don't forget the U.S. government and other governments. This cycle, we're witnessing unprecedented momentum in Washington with the Bitcoin Act on the table and discussions around the U.S. holding Bitcoin as a reserve asset. The narrative has shifted. So we have these massive companies looking like they're shifting into Bitcoin. We have the potential that U.S. is going to start accumulating 200,000 Bitcoin a year if we get this Bitcoin Act. $1 million for Bitcoin, not sounding so crazy. This just sums it all up, what Michael Saylor is saying here. And this was just posted. I saw this today. Check this out real quick. Then we'll dive into the charts.
Yeah, I'm going to keep buying. I joke. So you said, well, is 100,000 too much? And I said, look, Dave, I'll be buying it at $1 million a coin. And I'll probably be buying it at the rate of $1 billion a day at $1 million a coin, because that's what I do.
Listen to what he says next, because for me, this really painted the picture of how much sense this makes in the world that we live in. Check this out.
Just like, you're like, crap, Manhattan real estate's really expensive in 1930. It's a lot more expensive than 1830. I'm like, well, 100 years later, we'll still be buying it and we'll be paying a lot more. The only issue is, can you hold it?
That just completely, for me, that helped make it even make more sense. Think about that. Real estate just continues to go up in value, but people continually buy real estate. And it's the same exact thing with this asset called Bitcoin. It's going to keep going up in value. People are going to keep buying it. So $1 million in appreciation makes sense, especially because it is so finite. There's only a limited supply. So this number, $914,000 Bitcoin, I'm not saying that is this cycle or something like that, but it's getting close. You see this orange line up here. There's gold in terms of Bitcoin price, in terms of this chart. And this chart that I charted back in the bottom of the bear market, 2018, just below $4,000, this chart is not looking so crazy anymore, especially as right now Bitcoin's sitting at $100,000. We're somewhere right within this cycle right here, and you can see we're very much on track. And the continue parabolic move, the higher high move on the macro for Bitcoin to approach $1 million on this chart that I did back in 2018 is definitely not looking so crazy. But let's talk about price, because Michael Saylor even mentioned in that clip, like, can you hold? Like, that's the question. Over not only the course of one cycle, but multiple cycles. Can you hold? Can you keep accumulating?
Move forward.